Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Wednesday, April the 3rd, and I am joined, like every Wednesday, by Mr. Jesse Schule, and the gentleman we now call Part-Time Higgs is Sean Higgs, and we're going to be talking NBA today, right here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. Just a friendly reminder, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you've been watching these shows right along, or you like what you see or in here, and you're new to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast, then give us not only a like on the video, but also subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's absolutely free to do so. And you could just go into your YouTube settings and click on that alert notification bell. We would advise you do that, and just click on that alert notification bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. You'll be notified immediately upon any of our future podcasts going up on our great channel. Jesse, how are you, man?
Coming off a pretty good day, Ross. So, feeling good, looking good. What can I say?
It's nothing more.
I'm happy to see Sean back as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you could join us today, Higgsy.
Well, you didn't tell anybody you kicked me off the show for 2 days, so
yeah, there was no suspension. That was
no, we had
April Fool's Day joke.
Yes, no, come on, I had to go a little Good Friday mass on Friday, and then with kids, I had dentists and orthodontists and all types of nonsense. And the crazy thing is, normally I'll take, especially my daughter, for her stuff, I'll take her out like the end of the day, so I'll take her out at 2:00 because they end at like 4:30. So all the doctor's places down here for kids, everything closes at 4:30. Nothing's open on the weekend. So they had to come out during school. So she's like, hey, switch it to the morning because I miss so much. They're excused absences. So, of course, we miss the morning, right? Because she doesn't get in until 12:00. And I get the emails, like triple emails. Oh, you're over the allotment of days off. You had 3. I send in a thing. How are you supposed to get your teeth done down here? Like, you're a dentist office. Who do you cater to? You cater to teenagers.
They're not on Easter vacation there, or spring break, or whatever they call it.
Oh, good luck. No, that was like 2 weeks ago, and you gotta book that in like the August before, because again, everything, the weekends they're shut down here. Like weekends, like, oh, it's weekends, family time. Oh, Easter, everything's closed. Like they take their stuff serious down here. It's like, oh no, Saturday, no doctor's office, family time.
So I promised you it would be Sean's problem of the day, and that's
there you go.
He filled that in.
Yes, I did.
Any dental problems out with the kids out in Thailand, or again,
just bad weather, Ross. It's hot.
Oh,
and
okay. Monsoon season. With it. Is it monsoon season there? Or?
No, it's the dry season. No rain, just 45-degree heat and smoke and poor air quality.
Hold on, 45. Let's kick that over to American temperature.
What are you talking?
Celsius.
Yeah, well, he's Canadian, Sean. What do you expect? Yeah, the Canucks don't talk in Fahrenheit.
What's that?
They don't even talk in miles per hour. So
do they do kilometers up there?
Yeah, you drive on the Queen Elizabeth. It's not, the speed limit isn't 65 miles an hour. It's 75. Again, Jesse, correct me. I don't know.
Guys, I travel a lot, and the only country I know that's on the imperial system is the U.S. All of Europe, everywhere else in the world is on the metric system.
Yeah,
listen. When you're the only country that nukes people, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, we're so antiquated here in the States, Jesse. Anyway, by the way, we have a nice special going on for Major League Baseball right now for all the 10 handicappers, including us 3. You can get all our Major League Baseball selections, whatever handicapper you choose that is, up until the All-Star break for just $3.49. For those of you who say, well, I like to fill the dead time in with Major League Baseball, but around August I like to back off because I'm looking at NFL preseason and early college football and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is a perfect package for you. $3.49 to the All-Star break, which is somewhere around the second week of July. Also, if you want to take advantage of an annual package from any one of us, $6.49 for the entire season. Again, folks, this is a limited time offer, so these prices aren't going to stay this low for that long, especially the annual package. And I'm not sure how long our owner is going to run that All-Star break special. So take advantage of it while you can. And Jesse, tell the folks, I know you went 3-0 yesterday, but beside that, I know you had a one bad day on Monday, but you had a 10-2 weekend. So things have been good overall. I see at the top of the leaderboards.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you said it. 7-3 the last 3 days, 15-6 the last 7 days. For 2024, it's been, aside from the first round of the NCAA tournament, it's been smooth sailing. And looking back on it, in the past, I've had a lot of successful March Madness seasons, and I've been conservative in the first round. I probably should have been more conservative in the first round this year, and that's something for me to keep an eye on next year.
Well, when you're talking about having a bad first round, you're talking about 2 bad days, basically, So, I mean, I think we're all allotted that on occasion. And Mr. Part-Time, how you doing lately?
Not too bad. Baseball's off to a good start. Can't complain there. Having a nice week. And again, it's just had a rough two days. Most people did, though, in the NCAA tournament. What are you going to do? The favorites are cashing a ridiculous amount. So I ended up having a winning weekend with the college hoops, but it could have been better. You always want better. Win's nice, but you always want that sweep of the board, as Jesse likes to come in, Mr. Perfect. Who doesn't love a perfect day? But we'll grind out the 2-1s and 3-2s and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had a great March Madness last year. It's not great this year. It's just good. I mean, 14-10 so far in the NCAA tournament, which is, I'll take it. You know what I mean? When you stop and do the math, I believe that's in the high 50 percentile. So my clients are making a profit. I'm making a profit. Just 4-3 in the NIT, as I had a loser last night, as Georgia just didn't show up last night, Jesse, And also 1-0 in the CIT I just played the final. So whole season's been good to me. And overall, 25-15 now since March 20th with all sports. So I think that's around 62.5% to be exact, or 63% if you want to round it off. So a lot of good stuff going on with us three. And also you can check out the rest of the handicappers over at, or sports betting experts. Let's call us that. I don't like the words handicapper anymore, because handicapper, a guy could be a handicapper one day a week. We're sports betting experts, and there's 10 of us over at our site, gamblersworld.net, and you could check out the leaderboards on a daily basis. You could also check out how everybody did yesterday just by hitting yesterday's picks up in the top right-hand corner of the page. All right, let's get to our NBA games we're going to discuss today. We're going to start with let's start with Sean today. The Orlando Magic having a nice year. I don't know if you want to call it surprising, but they're right up there in the East, and they're not going to be a play-in team the way it looks. And the Pelicans, another team. You could say that these are the two most underrated teams in the NBA right now in terms of flying under the radar. And right now, New Orleans is a 4-point favorite, and the total, depending on where you look, is 208 or 208.5. But Sean, take it away. Let us know what's going on here.
Yeah, the Magic, look at what they 4 seed. Nice little season for these young guys. I'm going to look at the points here, though. And it's a tough spot because New Orleans has lost 2 in a row, and they're in an absolute. We talk about like the dog fights of. It's like the dog days of summer, but it's the wet days of April rains for the NBA playoff push. Look at the standings here. So everybody's fighting. You always want the better seed, and the New Orleans is in a tough spot as a 6. They're tied with one team. They're 2 above, and they're 1 game ahead of one, a half a game behind the other. But I think the Ingram injury is, you saw the last 2 losses they lost last night. You take a guy like that out on a team that's already overachieved, as you said. I got to lean the Magic here. You're giving me any kind of points in the game that could probably be a 1-score game, maybe a 2-score game, and if that's a 2, it could be 3, and I'm getting 4. I got to take the points with the Magic. They're a game and a half back at Cleveland for the 3, and New Orleans again. Ingram's that's 20 points a game you're losing. 2 straight losses. I don't like it. Give me the points here. Again, tough. The basketball time right now is tough because you see these huge spreads. Half the teams have all but shut off for the year, and now it's go time, as Jesse likes to say, right? The defense will show up. These totals are all under 210 now. I'm going to take a team that's playing a little better versus a team that's losing a big time score and has not responded their last 2.
Yeah, they lost the last 2, by double-digit margins, meaning New Orleans, albeit against Phoenix and Boston, but more concerning on their home floor. And they didn't play yesterday, Sean. They played on.
Is that 2 days ago they played?
Yeah, Monday.
The Suns game?
Yeah.
Again, you're losing to a Suns team that's a game out of the play-in. I mean, okay, we have Kevin Durant, we're good. They're a game out of the play-in, the Suns. That's a terrible loss. But again, you lose a 20-point a game score. Good luck this time of year. That's a tough one to overcome.
Orlando coming off back-to-back home wins, albeit against less than stellar competition. Prior to that, they had lost 3 in a row. They have gone under the total, Jesse, in their last 5. So what's your take here, Jesse, on this matchup? Do you agree with Sean, or do you have something else you want to?
I'm not sure if I agree with Sean or not. I mean, he makes solid points. It's a tough one. The side is tough to me because you got 2 teams they're both going to be motivated for this game. They're both jockeying for position. Sean made an interesting point with the totals, though, and I've made a living at this time of year betting unders in games just like this. But in previous seasons, you'd see teams that weren't playing in these desperation games still going off for your 120, 130 points, and that would keep the overall numbers higher than they are now. You're not sneaking up on anybody if your plan is to bet unders these days. I mean, the value has been sucked right out for unders bettors. These are the exact type of games that I want to be on the under here. But under, you mentioned, Ross, that they went under in their last few games, but under what? This is a pretty low number. I want to be on the under, but it's just the number is too low.
Yeah, their last 5 games they've gone under, Jess. 220, 218, 212 and a half, 207, 210 and a half. And you compare that to the total right now of 208 or 208 and a half, like Jesse said, and you make a good point, Jesse. The value on going under the total here has just been sucked right out. So anyway, Sean's official pick for us is Orlando plus the 4. I'm not going to have a strong opinion one way or the other in this game. But I know somebody who will have a strong opinion on the Thunder and Celtics game, and that's Mr. Jesse Schule. And right now the Celtics are -9 and 231. Boy, that's a heavy number to give the Oklahoma City Thunder, who is coming off a loss last night, by the way, I think at Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken, if I recollect correctly. And Jesse, what do you got here?
So if it wasn't for that loss to Philadelphia, this matchup would be the best team in the West versus the best team in the NBA. But now you got Oklahoma City half a game out of first in the West. Situationally, this is a revenge game for Boston. Earlier in the season, in January, Boston went to Oklahoma City. They lost back-to-back games on back-to-back nights on the road at OKC. The first game in OKC, they lost by a score of 150 to 117. So giving up 150 points to this team is something that I'm sure they haven't forgotten. Revenge spot for Boston. And then, tough spot for the Thunder. Second game of a back-to-back on the road, Eastern Conference. SGA hamstring injury, didn't play last night, sat out 3 of the last 4 games. Hamstring injuries at this time of year with the playoffs right around the corner, I mean, I don't think you want to mess around with that. I mean, if he hadn't missed the few games before, I would say, okay, they hold him out in the front end of the back-to-back to bring him back in this game, right? But the fact that he's missed several games lately would lead me to believe that they'd be foolish to play him tonight. He's not the only one injured. Jalen Williams also questionable. To me, Ross, it looks like a game where, as much as this could be billed as the best team in the West versus the best team in the East, I think it's a game that Oklahoma City should wave the white flag. And Boston, motivated by revenge. The line looks heavy, but I think they will face little resistance from a wounded Oklahoma City team in the second game of a back-to-back, just in a bad spot. So I like Boston minus the points.
All right, Jesse likes Boston -9 over Oklahoma City. I would be the devil's advocate here and say beware of the wounded animal, with no pun intended. You're looking at an Oklahoma City team that's gone 6-0 in their last 6 following a loss. They haven't lost back-to-back games since February the 6th, and they're getting 9 points in the spot. Jesse has pointed out exactly why that line is so heavy, and he also cites the 127-123 Oklahoma City win over Boston on January 2nd. Again, I think that game you're referring to, the 150-117 game, was last January. But the only matchup this year, Oklahoma City won 127-123. Sean, your take?
Yeah, well, I think, the line is what it is because of the injuries, obviously, right? I mean, it wouldn't just be a 9-point favorite based on full strength or even Shea probably playing. But we've seen weirder in the NBA. I mean, last night's Sixer game, Embiid's out all day, and then 5 minutes before tip-off, oh, by the way, look, Joel Embiid's playing. So who knows what's going on there. Part of me wants to take the Thunder just based on the Celtics are back from a 6-game road trip. 3 big covers they didn't get. They 18 couldn't cover that, and they lost back-to-back as double-digit favorites to Atlanta.
Yeah.
But this is, to me, this is why the NBA is tricky this time of year. Like, could he play out of the blue? All right, we lost a couple. We got to get one back because the Sixers and Celtics are supposed to be good teams. We got to show up. I'm with Jesse. Sit the guy out, but I don't know. I don't like taking teams coming back from long road trips. I feel like you get back from a road trip, you're home, the kids are all over you, your wife's bothering you to cut the grass. I hear the Bills do this, that. I always kind of fade that situation, especially in a big line like this. I don't want anything to do with. I would leave Thunder with you.
I will point out, Sean, Boston is 32-3 at home, and I have to imagine that among those 32 games, a lot of them were first games back from a road trip.
Oh yeah. But okay, the 32-3. But again, I don't have the numbers. What are they covering? 10-point spreads out of the gate? Are they? That's the kind of thing. And again, I got an injured team. Maybe the guy plays. I mean, the game before yesterday with this team involved, a guy who's supposed to be out for the whole year comes in and plays. Right? I mean, Embiid was supposed to not play. All of a sudden, he's playing 5 minutes before the game starts. So.
Yeah, I mean, my thought process would change in a hurry if I found out SGA was playing.
Yeah.
Because
well, how would you know until it's 5 minutes before tip-off? So
exactly.
That's why
you're not going to know, and that would indicate to me that Oklahoma City means business. If they're going to put him at risk, coming off a hamstring injury to play in this spot, that means they're taking this game seriously. And my entire reasoning is based on that. I don't think they should take that risk, and I don't think they're going to take this game seriously. So
Jaylen Brown is also listed with a hand injury and questionable to play. Using that same strategy, Jesse, that why would you play a player that's banged up right now at this time of year and not look at the big picture as opposed to a one-game situation? Would you say the same would be for Jaylen Brown here and the Celtics in terms of that decision tonight?
I'm not going to say that it wouldn't, the same process doesn't apply, but the difference being a hamstring injury is something that gets re-aggravated, and it's quite dangerous, right? Because if you've got a slight hamstring tear and you play on it and you re-aggravate it, now you're gone for weeks or months, right? Whereas a hand injury, you're usually talking about just dealing with pain. You're usually not talking about putting much at risk. And also the fact that SGA has missed 3 of the last 4 games, giving you a really good indication that the injury is serious. Whereas Jaylen Brown, less of an indication that he's seriously injured, and it could be just a matter of is he comfortable playing or not. So those are the differences, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, this 6-game road trip, Sean, that Boston's coming off of, they went 4-2. As you pointed out, they lost both games at Atlanta as double-digit favorites. I mean, look who they played on this road trip: Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta twice, Charlotte, and New Orleans. The only winning team was New Orleans. They played on the road trip. And I had pointed out to Jesse yesterday, and the pick didn't come through because I gave out Dallas as a free pick on yesterday's show, is these teams coming off a successful road trip in their first game back home, and especially playing on just 1 day rest like Boston, could be vulnerable, especially laying a big number. But we'll see. I mean, to me, that 9-point spread leads me to believe that the star player there for Oklahoma City, Alexander, is not going to be playing tonight. So, and I'm not crazy about the Celtics defense of late, Sean, either. I mean, they're coming off decent back-to-back games defensively against New Orleans and Charlotte, but prior to that, they had gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row where opponents shot 49% or better. Any final thoughts before we move on to our next game?
One more way to look at it, though, is the Celtics didn't look very good on that road trip, as you guys alluded to, losing those 2 games to Atlanta and the one game when they were up 20-plus points and they blew a big lead. I mean, it creates some rumblings that is Boston really the best? And I've seen it. It's all over YouTube. It's all over the media. Boston, they're not really that good, right? And I mean, they're hearing that, and that could provide motivation to, if you face an opponent as highly ranked as Oklahoma City, they've been the best team in the West for the last month or so, and they're vulnerable. They're playing the second game of a back. It's an opportunity for Boston to get back on their high horse and make a statement game in a situation where they sort of need a statement game if they want to stay on top as the team to beat in the NBA.
Yeah, Sean, you know what? Not only are they playing back-to-back games on the road, meaning Oklahoma City, they're playing their third road game in 4 days. And they're playing at Boston, as Jesse alluded to, 32-3 straight up at home, 19-14 against the spread, by the way. Sean, any final thoughts?
Nah, again, I would lean with the dog, but that's tricky NBA for me. That's I got the Magic one. That's about all I'm worthy to stand behind today.
Yeah, well, you've had some time off, so not only are the Celtics, like you said, they're coming home from a road trip, and now all the kids are bothering them. Well, now they got to start. All these guys have been away for that long. I'm sure they got to fill in with some doctor's appointments and stuff like that for the kids like you. Stars are stars, and they're no different a star than you are in your own field. So, in any event,
my own mind, my tiny brain,
a legend in your own mind. Anyway,
a pea rolling down a 12-lane highway. My brain.
I'm going to look at the Cavs and the Suns game tonight. Right now, as we speak, the Suns are a 5.5-point favorite. The total is 226.5. I look at the Cavs and I think of low-scoring games, but that's not been the case. Over their last 6 games, they've gone over the total on each occasion, and they've also gone over in 11 of their last 14. But keep in mind, all of these are relatively low numbers. So that's what the red flag comes up for me is they're 6-0 to the over in their last 6. But those totals have been 220.5 or less in all 6 of those games. However, there's an asterisk here. Over their last 5 games, Cleveland has averaged 114.6 points per game, shot 52% from the field and 41% from the three-point line. So they're not a high-volume shooting team. They're not a team that's going to play up-tempo a lot, but they've been very efficient of late. And defensively, they've left a lot to be desired over their last 4 contests in which they've allowed 119 points per game, 52% shooting by the opposition, and opponents over that 4-game stretch have knocked down 46% of their three-point shot opportunities. Now, the Suns, the polar opposite, 8-1 to the under in their last 9 at home. But again, we got to go into the numbers. You just can't look at the unders and overs results. You have to look at what the total is here at 226.5, 8-1 to the under. The average total in those 9 games was 231.4, actually. And those games averaged 226.5 points per contest combined. So that's right on where the total is right now. The Suns offensively, very efficient over their last 5 games as well. Similar to the Cavs, not a high-volume shooting team. Doesn't get to the free throw line a lot. They don't give up a lot of free throws like the Cavs. But over the last 5, averaging 113 points per game, shooting 50% from the field and 39.3% from beyond the three-point line. These teams met in Cleveland just a few weeks ago, and the Suns won that game 117-111, going over the total of 220.5, which was considerably lower. The odds makers did bump this total up to 225.5. And it's now been bet up to 226.5. 225.5 was the opener, excuse me. I'm going to have a very small lean here, folks. This isn't a game I'm going to be using on my premium side. But since I've been assigned the game, I always do my best to make sure that I give you the best opportunity to win. And I'm going to go with the Cavs Suns over 226.5 here, Jesse. And I know that's something. You got two teams that are playoff caliber teams, and we're down the final stretch. And I know in the back of your mind, you're saying this is where the screws tighten up defensively, and this is where I like to play unders. But hey, if you disagree with me, that's fine, buddy.
You know what? I'm not going to even look at the total. Like I said, I just think they've sucked the value out as far as betting unders. And I've sort of looked away. I've sort of my focus is off of totals right now in the NBA for that reason. I'm just not seeing a ton of value. I mean, I'll look at it, but I'm not seeing a ton of value there. But for this one, give me the Cavs. I know Sean's on board with hating Phoenix and hating Kevin Durant, but let's face it, they put together that big three. They get Bradley Beal. They got no depth. They traded away all their depth. So now they have no depth. They went on a run for a while. They were looking pretty good, but now they find themselves clinging to a play-in spot. And you could think, well, now they got to win. Now that they're clinging to a play-in spot, it's a must win. But, well, how did they get here in the first place? You know, you got to take that into consideration. Why are they in the position they're in? And I'd venture to say that the reason they're in this situation is because they're not that good. And Cleveland's in third place in the East. They rested Donovan Mitchell in the last game. He's expected back tonight. If Donovan Mitchell plays, I will take Cleveland plus the points.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cleveland's coming off a win at Utah last night, 129-113. That's the good news. The bad news, they've gone 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, 0-6, 0-7, 0-8, 0-8 straight up in ATS in their last 8 games immediately following a win. They haven't won back-to-back games since the 27th of Dallas. Not only they've lost 8 in a row following a win, they've failed to cover on each occasion. Sean, what's your take?
So you're saying we're due for a win?
I was gonna say, it was on the tip of my tongue.
We're due. It's listen, I like Cleveland. Last night I looked at the NBA board. I'm like, well, the only 2 games I can really look at were Cleveland and the Magic. And, you know, the Suns, yeah, you got to love it. Kevin Durant play, you know, he's in 8th place here, along with LeBron and Steph Curry. Three of the stars of the game battling. Three teams battling for 2 spots in a play-in spot for the NBA. You got to love it. How about the fact that this is for the Suns since March 11th? They're the last 11. 9 of them have been on the road. So this is actually their 12th game, but they haven't played it yet. That's a long roadie. And as I said against the Celtics, I don't like those kind of spots. And you're talking 9 of the last 11 on the road, going back. I mean, 24 days. This is their 3rd time playing a home game, and they're not even that good. They're not a good team. That's why they are, as Jesse said, in eighth place, battling, tied here with who? Sacramento in the last spot. We'll take the Cavs here. We'll take the Cavs.
All right. So both of these gentlemen have a lean toward the Cavs at plus 5.5 over the Suns. Our official pick. Cavs Suns over 226.5. That comes from me. Jesse will give us the official pick on the Thunder and Celtics. He likes the Celtics minus the 9. And Sean's official pick for us on the Magic Pelicans game is he likes the Orlando Magic plus the 4. Jesse, there's a like button right underneath. Tell the folks exactly what they should do with that like button.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button, folks. It's just a small token of your appreciation for the time, work, and effort that we put in to bringing you a quality podcast 5 to 6 times a week. And by the way, folks, if you have not subscribed, like I said at the top of the show, click that subscribe button and then go into your YouTube settings and click on the alert notification bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. You'll be notified immediately upon any of our future broadcasts going up on our great channel. All right, so you guys will be back with me on the live show tomorrow. We'll be discussing the Final Four matchups, and maybe one of these two gentlemen will join me. I haven't discussed that with them, but one of the two is going to be joining me tomorrow, depending on who's available. And until then, for Jesse Schule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, take care and God bless, folks.